Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It is Sunday night, and we are back with the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by my Private Cellars. Yes, it is season number 7 of the V8s on the ovals, and well, this season's set to have a little different shake-up in the rounds, as we are going to be heading to a couple of road courses this year. So a few little different things to talk about, as we're just in qualifying for this round number 1 here at Michigan International Speedway. 100 laps here tonight. I'm, as ever, Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you up here in the booth, and I'm joined by Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to be back at the V8 scenes. And as you said, a couple of interesting races come this season. A couple of road races, and that's playing into everyone's hands. You know, we've got these guys that are great on ovals, and then we're going to have the guys that are fantastic on the road courses.
Absolutely, taking the cars to their natural habitats, but not always their natural playgrounds. We'll talk a little bit about that in a couple of moments. Of course, we're also joined by Mr. Matt Hunter. Matt, how you going, mate?
Yeah, going good. Looking forward to this one and the changes and seeing how they play out.
Absolutely. It's going to be an exciting time. Just quickly glancing at the weather forecast. It is a balmy 28 degrees in the air, 32 degrees on the track temperature. So a little bit warm on the old tyres here at Michigan. A little bit of wind, about 19 kilometers per hour in a southwesterly direction. So could catch a couple of people out with some of those stronger gusts. Just getting to the end of qualifying, but we'll quickly touch on those road courses. So we're going to be heading to Phillip Island for the first of the road courses, and then it's off to Watkins Glen, and finally the Circuit de l'Espoir-Francorchamps over in Belgium, and looking forward to that one. So it should be pretty fun to see these cars on some different road courses. Well, qualifying is done and dusted, so let us start by running through tonight's grid. And it is Darren McKenzie taking pole position tonight. First one of season 7. He's got Todd Maxwell starting on his outside. On row number 2, it's Greg Spencer and Adam Malone. On row number 3, it's reigning champion Mr. Raymond Yeager with Peter Madison on his outside. Andy Barber starts next to Aaron Dillon on row number 4. Row number 5, watch out for this man, Gary Wellman. Can he continue his hot streak? He's got Ash Nazir next to him on row number 5. Row number 6 is Chris Finlay next to Aidan Schultz. Justin Whitcher lines up next to a returning Noddy Tompkins. Good to see him back in the car on row 7. Row 8, we've got Jamie Budd and Tom Pritchard. And then it's Nicholas Walsh making up the final line with possibly Shea Mello starting as well, out of 18th position. So plenty of action here tonight, Mark. Michigan, it's a very fast track, of course, in these cars as well. It makes it even faster.
Yeah, definitely a quick track. A little bit of tyre wear comes into play here tonight. Although I'm just not sure if the V8s have had an update on the tyre side of things, but normally very fast and a reasonable tyre deg in the NASCAR. But as you said, Carl, the person to watch out for is that green number 45, Gary Wellman. Starting a little bit further back than what we normally see him, but I think he's going to be the man to beat tonight.
Absolutely. And well, tyre sets is a interesting thing to talk about. I mean, we love talking about tyres. It's always everybody's favourite conversation. No, it's not really. But there are a couple of extra sets this season. So we get 3 sets of tyres for the race. So you get the set you start on and 2 sets to go through the race. So it should change up the strategy a little bit. So that's going to change things up. It means that you don't have to tyre save as much as you had to in previous seasons.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a few people down pit lane early for fuel and tyres to try and catch everyone else out.
Yeah, could bring in some bold strategies tonight, so we're going to keep an eye on that one. Well, if you're new to the series, first of all, welcome, of course, to the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by my Private Cellars. Second of all, what have you been doing? You've been missing out on some great action. These V8s race so well on the ovals. It's a very different style to what we're used to in the NASCAR scene, but they do race very, very well. Watch for the big slipstreams, the big drafts that you get behind the leaders, and people taking advantage of that and trying to leap themselves forwards. Well, we're coming up to the start-finish line, and we're about to kick off here for Season 7, this Race 1 at Michigan, and we are about to go green. I'm going to shut up. Let's enjoy these V8s roar away here for tonight's race. Kenzie getting very, very, very tight and squiggly up on the high line there, coming through turn number 4. Almost looked like he didn't make it. He just stuck the car on that high side and managed to make it through the corner. A few people getting very loose through there, but it looks like everybody's made it through. Up at the front, Raymond Jaeger's managed to work his way up 4 positions, getting himself up into the lead of the race ahead of Todd Maxfield. Adam Malone working his way up through the grid, as well as Gary Wellman and Aidan Schultz. And there's contact between Jaeger and Maxfield, and into the back goes Adam Malone. Big impact to Adam Malone. Now that's blown the bonnet completely off.
Yeah, these boys aren't mucking around in the first race. They're 3 wide for a lot of that first lap, the opening lap, and heavy damage there on the front of Malone's car. That will not help him here tonight. But we see Aidan Schultz make a great run through, and now up battling for the lead with Raymond Jaeger. And look at them behind there, Carl, 3 wide. No mucking around here. We want to get points, and we want to do it in a hurry.
Do indeed. I always thought they were going to go forward for a couple of moments there. They're thinking about it in the background. They are really racing hard. It's a bit speedway style action as well. There's all contact between Schultz and Jaeger into the wall, and we're going to get the caution out. Huge impact there for Raymond Jaeger as he spins off onto the infield. We've remained green for the moment. Will it stay out with the green flag? It looks like it. Big damage for reigning champion Raymond Jaeger, and that could be his night over. Some serious damage to both those cars. The 52 of Aidan Schultz's car is done and dusted, and there
Yellow's
is the
out now.
caution flag.
Yeah.
So just running up there, just 2 cars on the same bit of track, and who was that on the low side there? I couldn't quite see.
Andy Barber. It was Andy Barber that come down through the grass.
Peter Madison caught the car there as well. Peter Madison was the green and orange car that took a big heavy hit there as well. Lot of damage to the left front of that car as well.
You know who you know what this has done for the race lead. You know who's out in front, Carl?
I wouldn't even like to hazard a guess. I mean, it can't be the 45.
Oh yeah, it's that green car, number 45, Gary Wellman.
Good job avoiding that. A lot of cars checking up as well. Big slide there as well. Great save going across the grass. And that could have been a heavy accident coming back on as well, but just kept the car in the right position. A few big saves going throughout the field. So Aaron Dillon's got heavy damage. Raymond Jaeger heavily damaged with that one. Of course, Aidan Schultz out of the race as well, unfortunately. But this will be good news for everybody, just to come in, get a couple of little gulps of fuel and just take a quick breather as well. Noddy Tompkins got a bit of damage to his left front.
Sorry, mate. Andy Barber's stayed out on the track. I'm just trying to catch who that other car is.
Shay Mello.
Shay Mello in the Batmobile tonight.
Yep, trying something different for Wayne Tech and seeing what can happen there. And no, you can never discount a Batman. It's they always manage to sneak in from somewhere.
Well, he's got a bit of a theme going in this series. Last year he was in a highway patrol car. Now this year he's in the the old Batmobile. So I think he might be a closet crime fighter.
That's it. He's gone from fighting crime legally and now is doing it as a freelance. So it's these things happen in the world of crime fighting. We wish him all the best.
And I can tell you too, Carl, Adam Malone has been able to get that car repaired, and he now has a bonnet back on the thing.
Yeah, good job by the team there, chucking new bonnet on that. That's going to help the aero a little bit and make it a little bit more slippery in a straight line. Hopefully there wasn't any damage to the cooling system, because of course, remember, these cars, they're not as solid as a NASCAR, as you'd Cup car at the front and the back. They crumple a little bit easier. That's why bump drafting is so tricky in these things. You've got to be very, very cautious, and a heavy hit can really damage it. So into the lane comes Chris Finlay again. He's coming down for another quick gulp of fuel. So a few people trying some different strategies here as well. So chucking a little bit more fuel in. Ash Nazir as well, another driver trying to get a couple of extra litres of fuel in the car and seeing what they can do in this race. So plenty of action here to come, of course. And well, we're 7 laps into the new season, into season 7, and we've already had some major action, Mark.
Yeah, definitely have. Just looking back at Raymond Jager's car, he's been able to get a boot lid back on that thing, but it's definitely looking second hand across the back still and down the right hand side.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night, I think, for Jaeger, and not the way you want to start off your title defence, but it's not been a bad night for some other drivers. And well, the runner-up last season, Gary Wellman, he's going to be trying to absolutely get back up there and try and get that victory this season, and you would not want to bet against that Simboy tonight.
Definitely not. And just a quick update, Aaron Dillon has not been able to get all his repairs done. He's still missing his bonnet, so that's going to be a big parachute at the moment.
Yeah, it does not help when you don't have the bits of aero left on the car. It makes it very, very draggy and makes it very difficult to race. Pace car pulls in. Andy Barber's going to be leading away for Southern Stars. Up to the restart zone he comes. When does he put his foot down? Right in the middle, gets away nicely there, gets a decent lead. Gary Wellman getting away nicely on the inside as well, as they all pull away. Lap 8 of 100. 92 laps remaining here tonight at Michigan for the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by My Private Cellars. Now keep an eye on those cars as they're getting through the mid-corner, because they were getting very, very slippery. The car was stepping out quite a lot on these drivers, and it's getting very, very twitchy through the exit of turns 3 and 4. So we'll see if that little bit of rest period helps the tyres cool down a tiny bit and everybody can get back onto pace, or if they're going to be a little bit cooler and they're going to be struggling.
We might just see everyone settle down here now that we've had that first caution, and but they're still going to be racing nose to tail and flat out. But I don't think we're going to see any more little silly moves try and get through. They'll now wait until that gap opens up nice and clear, and really push it through then.
I will remind you of those words, Mark. I will keep them in the back of my mind. We'll see how that one plays out, because they are racing very hard at the front. Darren McKenzie getting up into the lead now, and they are very tightly packed behind. There is barely spitting distance from first to 16th position. Aaron Dillon a lap down with some of that damage, unfortunately, 0-1-3, but there's plenty of action going on through the mid-pack, as we see Jamie Budd flying down the inside, getting the 180 up to speed and coming along quickly.
Yeah, I was about to eat my words then, for sure, because as I was saying that, we've seen 2 rows of 3 in that mid-pack. So But it's been good. We got the two Southern Stars cars up front, Mackenzie and Andy Barber, then followed by Gary Wellman and Jamie Budd. So these guys are really going. Raymond Jager back up into that top 5, and his teammates aren't far behind. No, they've dropped way back now.
Yeah, they've dropped a little bit off. There's some tight battling going on between Jaeger and Pritchard at the moment. Tom Pritchard and Raymond Jaeger really fighting hard. Big moment there. Gary Wellman just lost a huge amount of speed. Just had a little bit of a checkup when Bud came passing him, and that's just dropped Gary Wellman right down the order. Just taking that little bit of a breather on the throttle has left him flying it down the field, and a lot of people closing up very, very quickly. All it takes is the blink of an eye to have a big accident in these cars, because you are travelling at a vast rate of knots, 290 kilometers per hour at some points, almost 300. And all it takes is a momentary lapse of concentration or a little checkup, and you don't catch it, and you will have a big accident.
Yeah. I've just gone back and had a look at that. Jamie Budd and Gary Wellman actually made contact. So Gary did really well to hold on to that car.
Super save there, getting that car on the right track and getting it sort of in a position, and good job from everybody else behind as well, not going into the back, because it would have been very easy to collect the wheel with that singles car and find yourself having a big old accident. It's one of those things you've got to be so cautious of, especially in oval racing, as we all know that we're the ones that do it. It's a very, very stressful situation when you're racing this close in a pack, and it is serious pack racing here, where you are absolute nose to tail, and a single mistake can cost a huge amount.
Yeah, just looking at that line, yellow car of Noddy Tompkins. Noddy's been crooked for the last couple of months and has missed a fair bit of racing, but it's good to see him now back up into the top 10, running in 8th position at the moment. So it's good to see him back out on track.
Absolutely great to see him back out on track, and hopefully doing a little bit better health-wise, as Peter Madsen gets a good run on the low line. Despite that damage over the left front of the car, he's still got some pace in the 173. And something else you find with these cars, of course, they're not as... They do get affected with some aero damage, but they've got so much power under them, sort of... The way the downforce works is a little bit of crumple to the front end is not necessarily the end of your night. And you can see that.
Contact!
Bud and Tompkins, I think, making contact, and a huge wreck in the background, taking out a whole heap of cars.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just missed what happened there. I think my first instinct is Bud just come up that little bit and put Noddy into the wall, and then they made contact a second time as they came down.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that was the case, and a driver that got caught out in that big time was, the driver that dominated Season 6, Gary Wellman. He had a big accident in that one as well. We'll see in this replay. Watch for the green car. Gets caught in the rear as he's trying to brake and slow down for that one, and goes flying down, gets caught in the side, and then bang into the barrier. That's probably going to be night over and done with for Gary Wellman, meaning we're not going to take victory here tonight.
No, definitely not. Big hit up the rear end, as you can see there on the replay.
Quite a few cars caught up in that one, unfortunately. So big damage for Noddy Tompkin, just in the wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately. A bit of a passenger in that accident. Nicholas Walsh, Jamie Budd as well, heavy damage. Adam Malone, Tom Pritchard, Aaron Dillon, and Gary Wellman. So that's quite a few cars. Todd Maxfield have got a big heavy hit in that one as well. And I think I saw a car, one of the Southern Stars, missing a boot lid, and it was Andy Barber.
Andy Barber, he took a big hit down on the low line there.
A lot of wounded cars out there. That is going to change things up a little bit, because, well, some of those guys that got caught in that early incident, they might be able to get back into it.
Yeah, definitely. We've only got 3 guys. Well, actually, 3 guys now. a lap down. Adam Malone, Jamie Budd, that they were just mixed up in that, and Noddy Tompkins 2 laps down. But looking at Noddy's car, that has significant damage, so we may not see him back out there tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one, and all the engine has just gone poppity pop as well. So that's going to be a lengthy rebuild of that car. It's probably going to be easier to go into the crowd and see if you can source yourself a Commodore from the street section and paint it up. That's probably going to be the quicker way of repairing that one. Just quickly tonight, a big shout out, of course, to the season sponsors sticking with us for season 7. We cannot carry on with the broadcast without their support. Of course, my Private Cellar, titled sponsor of the series, keeping us stocked with plenty of nice adult grape juice, and very happy in that respect. Of course, RKJ Web Services, of course, as well, a big shout out to them. Whitcher Electrix, of course, one of the big title sponsors on the Pinnacle cars as well. Justin Whitcher there, of course, one of the main people of Whitcher Electrix. And of course, over on to the Simboys side of things with United Electrical Solutions, and of course, Hot Toddy Heating Installations. We a big thank you to all of our series sponsors. It is a pleasure having you on board. We always enjoy having your company.
I tell you what, those Simboys cars look good again this season.
Yeah, I really like the paint job of Simboys, because they've got a uniform paint job. They just have a good mix of different colours, and it makes it very easy to tell who is who when you glance quickly. Luckily, there's enough colours for every Simboy.
I tell you what, the one car that doesn't look real good at the moment is that 45 car, Gary Willman's.
It's could be worse. It's looking like a sleeker version. It's the small version of the Mustang, isn't it? It's the compact Mustang tonight, as it's missing about a 2 foot off the boot at the moment. It's
mini-me.
Exactly, it's the hatchback version. the new Mustang hatchback. Gary Wellman should patent that and see if he can sell it to Ford, because it looks kind of good, just a bit different. Anyway, pace car has pulled in, and it's Greg Spencer Pinnacle up on the front with Ash Nazir on his outside, and we're about to go back to green flag racing here tonight at Michigan. It's season 7 and race number 1 of 11 here for the Australasian Supercar eSeries. And of course, a big thank you for joining us tonight. A slight apology if you are joining us a little bit late, because the series has mixed up the start time a little bit as well, which is always nice, especially for our Kiwi compatriots. So they get a slightly earlier start tonight, and a slightly earlier finish as well for the rest of the season. This will be our start time. So if you're tuning in, just going, oh wait, did I miss something? No, it's just that the start time has moved up a slight bit, and that will be the same for the rest of the season, half an hour earlier than prior. So if you are used to coming in at a set time, just make it half an hour early and you'll catch every race. We're back to racing up the front. Darren McKenzie, Chris Finlay battling it out hard. Good to see Finlay up there. He's got a pretty clean looking car, a couple of little wrinkles on the front, but nothing as major as some of the other cars out there. He is battling it out with Darren McKenzie, and now Raymond Yeager flying through. That car has had a lot of work done to it. I think the mechanics have been busy with the old rubber mallets.
Yeah, and the 100-mile-hour tape, and anything else they could put that car back together.
A little bit of chewing gum in there, I'm pretty sure. You know, it's amazing what you'll find holding together a race car at the end of a big long race. I speak from experience there. I've seen it all. Don't you worry. But they are racing hard up the front. Finlay getting up into the lead. Yeager giving him a little bit of a bump draft there. Really pushing hard on the 104. The golden sim boy is up at the front. Chris Finlay, he would like to start the season off in style, of course, and be the lead sim boy for this leg. and get them some good title, get them some good points for the team's championship as well. Darren McKenzie, though, he's not giving up yet. The O2 flying up, getting a good draft. Same for Andy Barber just behind him. They are really taking advantage of the slipstream, getting drug up behind the cars and flying up there at a vast rate of knots. They're actually coming up on a car that is going to be a lap down, and that's Aaron Dillon. So Aaron Dillon is battling to stay just one lap down at the moment as they span out across the track. Jaeger in the lead ahead of Darren McKenzie. Peter Madsen working his way back up there as well. It's been a good race so far for the 173. Got some of those repairs done to the left side. And Andy Barber, Chris Finlay just dropping back a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a good run there by Peter Madison after that early damage, and back up there challenging. Now we've got the same four really now battling it out. Looks like Raymond's gone to the high side this time round instead of McKenzie, and he's looking at having a run around the outside. But Peter's going to make it a three-way race here, getting down on the low, but just can't get his nose up inside McKenzie.
I'm sure Peter Madison would be thinking, my race is over after that early incident. But it's all come back to him now as he's right up there, really pressuring Darren McKenzie, trying to get himself up into the lead. He seems to be favouring that low line. Few people struggling up high. Jeremy Jaeger is not one of them. And look, you're going to see a multi-groove track appearing as this race goes on. But it just depends how you're comfortable driving these things. Of course, they have got a lot more downforce than you're used to in an oval racing car, unless you're in a classic Indy car, of course. But very different style of vehicle, but these things have a huge amount of rear downforce with that big old spoiler at the back, that big wing, of course, and the front splitter as well. Really sucks this thing to the ground, and of course when you're on an oval anyway, you get the old centrifugal force pushing them down too, so plenty of grip to take advantage of here, and we're seeing them take advantage of that at the moment as they're really wide through 1 and 2.
Yep, we've just seen 3 lead changes in a lap, so some great racing again tonight. And Peter Matheson is having another run down on that low line. And you see in the background there Justin Whitcher trying to make a move, or has made a move on his teammate Greg Spencer. So they're looking at joining this front group.
They are looking to slide their way up there, and look, you can never discount Pinnacle, of course, taking out the team's championship last year, and there is a reason for that. They are very, very good at consistency and winning as well. That's why it's very hard to wrestle the championships away from their drivers and their team. So you've got to have it all going your way. You've got to be so confident. Just on the low line, there's a green and black car working its way up to the front, sitting in 6th position at the moment. It's the small hot hatch version of the Falcon. It's closer to a Ford Focus at the moment, that thing, in its size, but it is absolutely storming along in the hands of Gary Wellman. Yeah,
definitely, and these guys are going to catch Todd Maxwell very, very soon in the 16. What's left of, I think it was the Mustang. So these guys are going to be looking at putting him a lap down again.
I think it's more of a Shetland pony at the moment. There's not much of it left.
Matt, just don't. I was just going to say to Matt, don't show too much of that engine. They'll get upset with us.
What engine's that one?
On Todd Maxwell's car.
It's all covered up anyway.
Luckily, it's painted black and has the plastic over it to hide any discrepancies and any extra cylinders that may be lurking around that area. Up the front, it's getting really racy again as there's contact between Jaeger and McKenzie. They hold the cars, but that was close stuff. Great job from everybody to hold the car in the right place, because that could have been a big accident right at the front of the field.
Yeah, and that would have seen them into the outside wall and then down across in front of the rest of the field. And we may have ended up with only 1 or 2 cars left in the race after that one.
Yeah, it could have been one of those races where if you are literally, as long as your car has got a wheel on it still and maybe a cylinder left in there, you could win it. When you get a big accident like that, it can really change things up, as we've got Justin Whitcher flying through the middle, making a run here, getting himself up into the lead, battling hard with Darren McKenzie. D-Mac having a good run on the outside, not able to defend that super speed as he got the draft. And now a little bit of bumping, a little bit of touching, a little bit of rubbing, and rubbing is racing son between the leaders. They are really racing hard here tonight.
Yeah, there's no love lost in this first race of the season, and we just see Whitcher drop down low. Just got a little bit loose.
Darren McKenzie was getting loose, and there is people getting loose there.
It's a bit of a bump around that one.
Yeah. There was a big moment. So Darren McKenzie moves all the way through 1 and 2, same as Justin Whitcher. He got that little bit of a bump and run from Peter Madison. Peter Madison lost the speed. He had all of his speed drop off, and he dropped right down the pack. And unfortunately, as Whitcher was sort of coming on track, Aaron Dillon was storming his way through and made contact. That all started off with that little bit of touching between Justin Whitcher and Peter Madsen. And you got to say a little bit probably just with the checkup happening, as Darren McKenzie had that car sideways for pretty much the whole of turns 1 and 2.
Let's hope he wasn't wearing VR.
Be spewing everywhere.
Yeah, hopefully not in VR with a full motion rig, because that would have been an uncomfortable little ride there. Darren McKenzie is going to be, well, he's not going to be delighted to see the caution, but I'm sure he's going to be breathing a mild sigh of relief, because that was a scary couple of moments. He, as I said, had that car pretty much sideways for the whole of turn 1 and 2 and was trying to save it. And that when that caution came out, it just gave him the opportunity to just lift and relax while out there up towards the front.
Yeah. And again, Andy Barber stayed out in the number 5 car. So he must be feeling fairly comfortable with what's going on and the tyres that are under him.
Yeah, Andy Barber's been down the lane. He came down about 15 laps ago. So he's been in the lane already. So he's obviously pretty comfortable at the moment. Everybody else is coming in. I think a lot of people are coming in for repairs, as well as getting a couple of extra tyres popped on or a little bit more fuel. But this could be really good for Andy Barber. If he's got a spare set of tyres up his sleeve, if he's taking it longer than anybody else, probably going to suffer a little bit in this early stage. On this restart, it's probably going to be a little bit slower, but it could come back to really pay off at the latter stages.
And unfortunately, with Andy staying out, Nicholas Walsh is going to stay those 2 laps down because he won't get the wave around.
Yeah, it's been a rough night for some of these drivers. They've really been caught down the laps. We've got a few cars that are a lap down. Todd Maxfield, Peter Madison, Nicholas Walsh, Aaron Dillon, Jamie Budd, Adam Lone, Noddy Tompkins, and Aidan Schultz. We've lost Aidan Schultz, Noddy Tompkins, and I think we've lost Adam Malone. No, Adam Malone's still in the pit lane getting some repairs. Jamie Budd is out of the race. So we've definitely got 3 cars out. Peter Madison, I think, is pulled the car behind the wall as well. So we've lost 4 cars from tonight's action. So that's a few out of the race, unfortunately. Out early doors, out at the beginning of this season. They're going to be hoping for a better round 2 for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And a quick shout out to one of our viewers, Mr. Brad Ellison. Welcome to the broadcast, mate. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good to see Brad back up and about and lurking around and hopefully settling back at home as well and getting himself back into the usual routine of things. So always nice to see that. Hopefully we'll see him back out on track as well in the near future.
Yeah, lurking's right with Brad.
Yeah, don't him too long. I know the lurking it goes on. If you see a shadow, you know that Brad Allison's not going to be too far off.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we've got some still some heavy damaged vehicles out there. So let's hope we can get a nice long green stint happening here now. I'm not going to say it's not we're not going to get we're going to see it, but because if we don't, I'm just going to go hide in the corner.
Yeah, hopefully we get a nice long green period, because I think a few of these drivers need it just to get back in the rhythm of things. Of course, a couple of weeks off, everybody's a little bit rusty. You have those moments when you come back, and it can be a little bit of a sort of acclimatization period, getting back used to the racing, because he's so fast and furious in these V8s. And I think a few people have just been caught out by that, just a little bit of rig rust, getting back into the sim and getting back out there racing in the Australasian Supercar eSeries. But up out front, Andy Barber leads away for the Southern Stars. Looking good at the moment. They've got Darren McKenzie up there as well, but Justin Whitcher scything his way through the field as the number 12 and former champion comes flying down the inside in the Pinnacle Cup and looks to be making it up to the lead. Shay Mello having a good run as well, keeping himself out of trouble. Was late into the server, didn't set a qualifying time, but has managed to get himself up into 4th position. And, well, the Batmobile is looking relatively unscathed.
Yeah, definitely, and we can see there Raymond Jager working his way back up to that lead 4. So it's good, and of course we can see the sim boys starting to swarm there in the background also. So be interesting to see. Greg Spencer back there looks like he's got that car repaired and back out and got some speed back into it. But up the front again, we've got two Pinnacle cars, two Southern Stars, and then the Batmobile all by himself.
That is it. I think Shane Mello's sprayed that car with crash repellent tonight, making sure that it can just keep away any accidents. So put away the shark repellent, got out the crash repellent, and it is working currently for the 812.
I thought the Batmobile was crash proof.
Depends which one.
So again, we can see up the front here, Carl, that the boys are wanting to go 3 wide again, but they're just not too sure.
No, I'm sort of hoping everybody just takes it 2 wide for the moment, just nice and easy. You know, look, we've still got a long way to go. There's still 63 laps remaining in this one tonight, boys. You know, it's been a rough beginning, and there's been a couple of big accidents, unfortunately. So we've seen a couple of big scalps already taken out of tonight's race. But it is not over until the fat lady sings and the checkered flag flies, of course. And well, we could see anything happen still, as there are still quite a lot of fast cars in this one.
Yeah, definitely are. And but even with Gary Willman's damage, he's sitting up there in where is he? In ninth. So he's definitely wanting to start off this season where he picked up from last season. But I don't think he's going to get the race win. But in saying that, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, and it usually does.
Yes, especially with these things. But again, we've got the resumption of the battle between McKenzie and Jager up the front, and Justin's Which is just sitting there waiting for mistakes.
Yeah, keep himself in a good position at the moment, and just keep himself out of harm's way, you've got to say, which is crucial. Okay, if you've got a clean car at the end of tonight's race, you could be in for a very, very good finish. So trying to keep the car as clean as possible, or getting it as rebuilt as much as possible, is going to be a key feature of tonight's race. So I think it's going to come to those guys that have been a little bit more patient and just keeping themselves out of trouble.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to put it out there. Anyone that was a clean car should get an extra 15 bonus points.
Zero X's next to their name. Yeah, they deserve a little bit of a bonus for tonight because it's been a bit tricky out there. And, I think there's been a lot of people just don't pull it out and just not being in the rhythm of it. And look, we've seen it before when you've had a bit of a break, especially on the oval racing when it is this fast and furious. As you see Shea Mello getting a big run right there. These things close up so quickly on each other. When you've been out of it for a couple of weeks, if you've been racing sort of your normal NASCAR vehicles, right, your Cup car, the Xfinity, or the trucks, you come back into these V8s and it's a completely different beast, and it can really catch you out.
Yeah, definitely. And the biggest problem with these things, though, Carl, is the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car.
That's on the right side of the baby. We're not like those silly Americans with it on the wrong one, taking after the French. We take after the great people of the world. Gosh darn French ruining the car for most people.
And we can see there Adam Malone back out on track, so it's good to see the third Southern Star car out and rotating again, although he is 10 laps down. Be looking just to gain some points in tonight's race.
Yeah, look, points, you could really find yourself with a decent points haul tonight by just circulating and getting to the final flag. As we count down lap 42 of 100, we are not at half race distance yet. It has been a very hectic start to this season 7, but we are starting to see everybody just getting a little bit more settled, you'd say. But the action is not anywhere. It's not exactly calm at the moment, you'd say.
No, look, there's a lot of guys, as you said, Carl, will be a little bit rusty, a couple of weeks off. Over the next few weeks, everyone will settle down. And I reckon by week 3, we'll be back to the high standard of racing that we have seen in the past.
Absolutely. Look, it will not take long for these boys to get back up on... back in form and things like that. These are some top class oval races. They're some of the best oval races in Australia, and a few of these boys, sort of coming in from the road racing side of the V8s and sort of trying their hands at the ovals. They get a big shock initially, but then they start to work their way forward, and it is a very, very different skill set to sort of the road racing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how it goes on the road courses, seeing who can come in and throw a bit of a spanner in the works. We've seen some very, very fast road racers who have been, solid on an oval, but not necessarily up fighting for victories. But then we also get the opposite. We get some really, really fast oval races that surprise and shock everybody once they get onto the road course and can really, really show people what they're made of.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we've seen that in the other series that we follow too, and we broadcast some real big surprises with guys that are known purely for the ovals and come out and take some top positions, on that podium.
Absolutely. It's a very different sort of style of racing. But when you're quick in a car, you are quick. And, well, these boys, they are definitely quick. As we see Darren McKenzie dropping right down there, going for a huge run on Justin Whitcher. A lovely move there from DMAC in the 0-2, getting a great run down and getting himself up into P2. Can he carry the momentum and get himself up into the lead, getting through the middle. They almost go 3 wide for a couple of moments. Darren McKenzie up on the midline. Jaeger on the low line, the reigning champion up there again. And, well, we said it's not how he wants to start off his season, trying to defend his title reign. It's not going too badly after that first lap incident, well, early incident, I should say. He is back up in the lead of this race, fighting for victory.
Yeah, we've seen guys here tonight drop right to the back of the field, and then work their way back through.
Sorry, Mark, we seem to be having some little bit of issue there as you're dropping out a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Dropping. we've seen the guys drop back and then have to fight their way back through. I think we might see some of these guys just settle right down now and try and stay clean for the rest of this race.
Plays out. Got Shane Mello in the pit lane in the 812. The Batmobile coming in and just taking the service. So Shane Mello coming in to take service, and I wonder if this is just the service to get into the end and just rolling the dice, taking green flag service, chucking on some fresh tyres and seeing what he can do in this race. As they are battling hard up at the front once more, 2, 3 wide. They're almost 4 wide for a couple of moments. They are racing hard. Southern Stars versus Pinnacle at the moment. That is the fight at the front of the field. The Sim Boys have not really taken it to the battle yet, but they are sitting there just waiting to see what happens as Darren McKenzie, Raymond Yeager battle it out. Justin Whitcher running up to the high side, trying to get that run around the outside, seeing what they can do.
It's really the first race in a couple of seasons where we haven't seen the Sim Boys right up there battling for the lead. Although they are just sitting back there in the background waiting for another mistake.
Yeah, you've got to say that the Sim Boys, they are legion. They are all. So they're a bit like Hydras as well. You get rid of one Sim Boy and then 2 more come back in their place. But they've had a rough night tonight. A lot of their cars taken out early doors. Aaron Dillon, Nicholas Walsh, very heavy damage, very much out of the race. Same for Todd Maxfield. So they've lost a lot of the cars running up the front and heavy damage as well to Gary Wellman. And Chris Finley's probably the only Sim Boy out there with all the panels still on his car, but they're not exactly straight. So it's been a rough night for them. That's going to be a tough start to the season. But, well, as we say, anything can happen still. There's a long way to go as we reach halfway distance. 50 laps remaining here tonight as we see Yeager and Whitcher really bump drafting a little bit on the low line. They are really trying to defend their lead positions at the moment, but Mackenzie's not giving up. Mackenzie going for a run now. Tries to go down the inside, tries to go there. Little bit of a touch to Yeager's rear as they go across the line. Yeager keeps himself out in the lead at the moment. Tight as you like it between Mackenzie and Yeager coming into turn 1. Mackenzie trying to squeeze Yeager down low, trying to make him take a tighter line to really scrub those tyres. There's a bit of door banging going on through turns 1 and 2. They are racing hard here at the front.
Yeah, and we can just see Justin just starting to get a little bit antsy sitting behind there, trying to look at maybe bump drafting his team boss. And we see him just settle down again. Raymond back out in front. And we got, I think that was Barber's just peeled into the pit lane. So I will keep an eye on that and see what is happening there.
Yeah, Barber's just pulled it into the lane and gone in for his stop. So keep an eye on that one. Looks like we may have lost Shane Mello from connection issues, unfortunately. So we won't know what that strategy call was going to pay off for Shane Mello. Big shame, because that was looking like it may actually pay off in the long run. It was setting some fairly good lap times. So unfortunately, race over and done with for Shane Mello. Meanwhile, up the front, we've still got the heavy action going on. This battle between Mackenzie and Yeager is really hard stuff. And now Tom Pritchard's there going, yeah, I want to in on this one.
So looks like a 30-second inbox for Andy Barber. So I would say that's tyres and fuel. So that's probably his last service for the race, guys.
Yeah, if they've made it. Oh, big heavy impact for somebody at the back there. I didn't see who that was. I think it was Greg Spencer. Big whack into the wall for the 29 Pinnacle car. That looks like Spencer might have just got a little bit tight going into the corner, made contact with one of the Southern Star cars of Adam Malone. And Malone in the wars tonight again gets a heavy lick into the wall. And I think that might be the night done for the number 3.
Adam's got a great run outside, and yeah, Greg is just just couldn't turn that car, and he's kept it straight. And that scene, as you said, Carl, Malone into the outside wall. I did hear some chatter over the race radio, so just couldn't pick it up.
I think I heard Craig Spencer just raising his arm saying, look, sorry about that, that was on me. So up to that one is very close up the front again. They absolutely are playing with fire out there tonight and really racing each other hard up in the front. Mackenzie and Jaeger, every time I'm looking at there, you could not fit a cigarette paper between those two cars. They're that close to each other, of course. And look, as we said at the start of the broadcast, there's a couple of extra tyre sets. Of course, they get 3 sets for this race tonight, so gives them a little bit more to play with in the race rather than just the single set. So makes for slightly different strategy calls than we're used to for most of the seasons prior.
So what? I've just zoomed in on Tom Pritchard's car, and I tell you what, that thing has got some damage on the left front. So he's doing a fantastic job with that left front nose all crumpled in, and part of that the diffuser on the left front gone.
Oh, and there it is!
That's a huge wreck.
We were saying they were playing with fire. They were racing each other very hard, and it finally come up. Contact between leaders Jaeger and Mackenzie, and I think it was more so.
I'm not going to make a call on that one, Carl. I'm going to leave that one. Oh, dearie me.
It's one of those racing incidents, you got to say. It looks like Jaeger's maybe just drifted up a tiny bit on the exit. Mackenzie is very much there as well. There's no room between them, and it's just caught the back there. And I just wondered if maybe there was a tiny bit of net code in that one as well, because they were so close to each other. But I think it was proper contact once I've seen it again. And, well, you've got to say that might be it for Jaeger's night, because that was a big, heavy crash for the RKJ Web Services Pinnacle car. The number one's night might be over, as I reckon there'll be a fair bit of engine damage to that thing.
Yeah, definitely looks second hand there. So it looks like everyone's in the pit lane.
Now, we saw Andy Barber, of course, take his service. So should at least get the lucky dog as well. So Andy Barber's going to be back on the lead lap here. So that didn't quite pay off, unfortunately, but at least hasn't lost a lap. So that's going to be a crucial thing for Andy Barber. At least he's going to be on the lead lap still.
Yeah, he's just come past the pace car, so he's back on the lead lap now.
As they all take their service, we get the rave starting in the pit lane, of course. Slightly different to our usual coverage in the fact that we have speed limiters on these cars. Of course, you have your pit lane speed limiter on these cars, which will cause the flashing lights up at the front. Of course, headlights as well, something that is different to our regular viewers as well. Of course, they actually have proper headlights in these cars, so you can actually see where you're going in the dark. So I'm just listening to just having a bit of a listen to Justin Whitcher, and he is heavily clutching it. I think he might be even switching it off at the moment. So maybe not fully confident to get to the very end if we go green. So very much in fuel conservation mode for Justin Whitcher. And you'd say, you know, being a yellow caution pit stop, you'd probably take as much fuel as you could on board.
Yeah, I've just seen Ash Nasser in the 630 car. Now he's been in the pit lane, and he's come back in, and he's putting more fuel into the car. That was a 1.1 or a 4.1 second stop in box. So he's come in and he's just topped that tank right off again.
So that tells me that they are very much wanting to save a little bit of fuel just in case, and just keep themselves there, because they might be a little bit touch and go to the end. We haven't seen a full sort of green flag run tonight as well, so we've seen everybody in and out of the pit lane in those early cautions, and we've seen a lot of caution laps in the first half of this race. If we go green to the end, it could leave people a little bit short on fuel, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. And just be careful of the 45 car. That car is now fully repaired. He's got a boot lid on, and the front of the car is nice and clean. So, and he's on the lead lap. So look out.
Yeah, the bodywork's all done. I wonder if there's. I have to wonder if there's any damage underneath there in the engine compartment, because we're struggling a little bit, but we're going to find out as we go back to green flag racing. 41 laps remaining here tonight at Michigan. It is round season number 7 of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, of course, brought to you by my Private Cellar here on Performance eStreaming.
And a great jump by Whitcher there to get a 3 or 4 car length lead over Mackenzie. Just trying to break that draft from the guys behind him.
Yeah, that's if you can get yourself out front, break the draft, you could be in a strong position tonight. And but Justin Whitcher is one of those few cars that's really not taken a huge amount of damage. I think it's one of the few cars out there that has not taken a lick of damage. So that could be very useful indeed for the number 12, Justin Whitcher. But right now we see Darren McKenzie coming back like a freight train, getting a good run off the corner. And, well, that gap of about half a second closes in a snap of your fingers. Once you get in that slipstream, once you get in that draft, you go flying forwards at a vast rate of knots.
Now I'm just looking through some stuff here. Adam Malone's night has just gone from bad to worse because he's sitting in pit lane with a black flag.
That is not fun at all. And yeah, you've got to say it's probably getting to that point where you go, yeah, I think I'm done. I think I might be done. Because yeah, that car is heavily damaged and a fair few laps down now as well. So bad start of the season from Ryan, but hopefully we'll see him back and fighting with teammates up at the front of the field, and we will see the Southern Stars having a good run.
Yeah, they were always thereabouts last year, but they didn't really come into great recognition last season, I should say. But it looks like they're definitely out here for a good battle this season.
They had a lot of bad luck last season, you got to say. It was if it wasn't a sort of wrong place, wrong time for an accident, it was the wrong place, wrong time for a simulator failure or a PC failure or internet connection failure or any kind of bad luck. It would often come their way. And we've seen that the number 02 take a fair amount of that as well. Darren McKenzie doesn't have good luck. If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all sometimes in these races.
And these guys are now going to come up and put Raymond Jager a lap down, who's running out there circulating, but a very heavily damaged car still.
Yeah, he's in the four-cylinder Mustang at the moment. I think it is very much missing a few ponies in the speed department. But you can see the rest of the field closing up, and one of those men is Gary Wellman. Well, the set race was run. There's going to be not a lot of chance for him to carry on the success of last season. And, well, we're going to be in our words, I'm sure. He managed to win a race from, 3-4 laps down last season. Could he do, again, a work of miraculous recovery and get himself up to the front of the field after that big accident?
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. But but still a lot of racing to go. There's 35 laps still to go in this race, so anything can happen. And we can see there Barber just pull out of that stretch, that draft, and look at the bottom.
They've got a good amount of cars up there at the moment. Southern Stars, you've got Mackenzie, Barber and Pritchard up there, and they're able to fend the lines a little bit. So this could be crucial. It could be a fantastic start to their season if they can get those free cars up there. And of course, if those free cars are, of course, the championship contending cars, of course, when you've got more than 3 cars in a team, you have to select the drivers who are competing for points for the night. And well, we've been seeing the magical spreadsheet of Sim Boys. That doesn't always work. I wonder what Southern Stars are using. Maybe a dartboard and some pictures of cars on there. But hopefully it will work out for them.
Yeah, definitely. But look, there's 2 cars definitely behind these 3 that are going to put up a good argument, in being Justin Whitcher and Gary Wellman. And Greg Spencer's not that far out of this race either. He's sitting back there in 6th position, so he'll be looking at putting a grapevine of a grapefruit in amongst the ashes.
Yeah, you cannot discount those cars. As I said, Pinnacle are one of those top teams, and they are very good at keeping consistent score and points. So they will very much keep on running and keep on going, so they can make sure to get those points in the bag. But they've got some really strong contenders in there as well. Up the front is still Southern Stars working it out. Tom Pritchard in the lead now. And Darren McKenzie and Andy Barber. Justin Whitcher dropping off a little bit. And I wonder if Justin's just sort of happy to sit back there in the draft to somebody else just to save a little bit of fuel mileage.
Yeah, look, these Southern Star boys are pushing fairly hard. So I reckon that's what both Justin, Gary and Greg would be doing. But if you look behind Greg, you've got another 2 Sim boys there that are just sitting there also waiting to pick up some crumbs if there's anything happening in front.
Yeah, Chris Finney's car is fairly okay still. It's not taking too many heavy whacks. So that could be one of those cars that's in a good point. Ash Nazir as well. He's sitting back there a little bit further back in the 630, but keep himself out of trouble, and been a very quiet night for Nazir, and that could be exactly what you want for this race. So just sitting at the back of this pack at the moment, just keep himself out of trouble. A couple of cars that are lap down battling in this pack as well. You've got Todd Maxwell and Nicholas Walsh up there, just keeping themselves in the mix and trying to keep themselves at least a lap down, try not to fall too far off the leaders. Nicholas Walsh currently 2 laps down in the 022, so it's just trying to be there and just take advantage of any lucky cautions you can and just work your way back into the race.
Yeah, well, look, if the race follows suit as it has done, it should only be another 4 or 5 laps, and we'll see another caution, and that will put him back onto the lead lap.
Yeah, that's it. You never know. You cannot give up in a race like this, because you could very easily find yourself squeaking inside the top 10 with a very damaged car, or finding yourself back on the lead lap and almost competing for a victory. You know, it's you just have to keep fighting in a race like this, where it's been quite heavy attrition throughout the field, and that has, you know, whittled down the field a little bit as well. But of course, once the field's whittled down, Mark, you know this from experience, there's less chance of a caution. Less cars on track, means there's less chance of a caution.
Yeah, definitely. But it only takes a slight lax of concentration, especially at these speeds, as you've said, Carl, and it can all go pear-shaped for yourself. But we see these Southern Stars now nose to tail. Oh, bit of a game move there on the from Andy, with a bump onto Mackenzie coming into the turn. Not the place you really want to be bumping a teammate.
No, well, I've said before about these cars, you know, they're not really designed for bump drafting. The crash structure in the back and the front of these cars is not very strong. It's designed to sort of crumple in an accident and sort of not designed really to push the car in front of you or be pushed by the car behind you. So they're sort of got to be very delicate when you make contact with that car, and then gently push it and not have a heavy whack, because that can really damage the vital internals of these things. So it is a very difficult skill to master, a very different kind of skill as well to sort of bump draft in these things. So there's plenty of action coming up and plenty of excitement, I'm sure, but they're just getting into a sort of holding pattern at the moment. Everyone's sort of sitting there going, yep, just going to see how this one unfolds. I think a few people as well are just keeping a little bit of fuel up their sleeve as well.
Yeah, well, the last thing you want to do is get down to those last 10 laps and have to come into the pit lane for a top of fuel. But these Southern Stars boys, if we are going to run short, I think we may see either Mackenzie or Barber run very low and very close to fuel.
Yeah, I think some people will risk it out there, rather than coming down the lane to get a little bit of fuel in the tank. They're going to be staying out there and just seeing what they can do, because if you can make it round that final lap and get across the line, you could be in a prime position to actually get yourself a little bit of some good points, but also get yourself in a good position. If everybody's come down pit lane, you could have a 40-odd second advantage over them. So it's crucial that you sort of get it to the line. But if you cross the line with no fuel in the car, just gliding across the line, and you're still a few seconds ahead of everybody else, you could still get yourself a victory that way.
Yeah, definitely. And look, we've seen that too in some of the ANSCAR races and the Warriors races this year, where it's come down to guys coming down to the start-finish line and running out of fuel.
We saw a while back as well with, I think it was Justin Whitcher. He ran out of fuel on the last lap, and a little bit of help from a teammate just nudging him towards the line just to get that. And there's been a couple of times where people have just absolutely timed it to perfection, also timed it to disaster, and just not had enough fuel to get to that line and missed out by just a couple of meters with the car coughing and spluttering.
That's right. I do remember that. I do believe it was Atlanta last season, and the guy that pushed him to the line was Greg Spencer.
Yes, that is right. It was crucial because it ended up being a victory, I think, from memory. It was very much a touch and go moment, but it just shows just how much you can gain by just sticking it out there and just getting it to the line, even if it is very much out of fuel, because you gain so much time over the rest of the field. We are 23 laps remaining here tonight at Michigan. It is season 7, round number 1 of 11 of this year's, this end of season part of the Australasian Supercar eSeries, brought to you by my Private Cellars here on Performance eStreaming.
Yeah, that last lap, we just seen Whitcher start to get a little bit quicker and get that nose down inside of Pritchard, but he's just backed off again. I definitely think they maybe look those 3 cars there of Whitcher, Wellman and Spencer, saving just that little bit of fuel, staying in that draft, not wanting to put their foot down just yet.
Yeah, they all seem to be in, just softly approach. Just looking out on track, Adam Malone is back out there in the Resurrect number 3, as well as Peter Madison in the 173. They are trying to chase down and work their way up into the top 12. So they could be in for some nice points hauls tonight by just getting the car to the finish line. So they could be in for some points here because of the attrition so far tonight. But up the front, it is the battle between Southern Stars at the moment and everybody else. 3 Southern Stars: Darren McKenzie, Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard. Up the front, you've got Justin Whitcher for Pinnacle in 4th position, Gary Wellman for the Sim Boys in 5th, Greg Spencer in 6th position, 7th, Chris Finley, Ash Nazir in 8th, 9th, Todd Maxfield, who is a lap down, and then Nicholas Walsh in 10th, another car that is 2 laps down. 20 laps remaining here tonight. We are cruising towards the flag at the moment, and look, it's looking like we might see some good green flag laps here. And could that mean we're going to see at least one more green flag stop for everybody, just needing to get a little bit of fuel in the tank to get them to the line? I think there are a couple of people that are pretty much set to get to the end from here, but I think there are a couple more that are a little bit nervous.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a fine line. You know, if as I said, I think these Southern Stars boys will be in trouble if they keep pushing the way they're pushing.
As they go flying past Remy Yeager there, who is just trying to get that car to the finish line at the moment. The 4-cylinder Mustang is struggling for pace after that big accident, but keeping the car out on track and just keeping it circulating for those points is going to be crucial for him tonight. Meanwhile, it is getting racy up the front. They're not sort of as manic as they were at the start of the race, but you just get the sense that people are just haunching back a little bit, just getting ready to pounce.
Yeah, it's definitely getting racy. And I'm going to correct you, Carl. I think that's a 2-cylinder Mustang that Raymond's in at the moment, because these boys are passing him at great rate.
Yeah, I think it's actually just got a tiny horse just pulling it along at the moment. The engine has been long lost. And just got a little horse underneath the bonnet, just trotting along under there to get it to the very end. It is very much spent, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, when you hit the wall that hard and end up upside down, it definitely does not do good things for a race car.
No, engines do not like to be upside down. We've found this out with experience a few times in the past. I remember once with a Chrysler Lancer that did not go too well, unfortunately. Very nice car, very fast car for rallying, but did not work very well after it had gone upside down.
Yeah, so it definitely does not do well. I know a sprint car engine that does not go too well after being upside down and full throttle.
Yeah, it's a nice big cloud of smoke afterwards, though. It's always a fun experience getting those working again. Anyway, we've got racing going on. We can talk about our horrible war stories, and you can hear it like a Vietnam flashback in our voices. We're chatting about that, but it is tricky. Nicholas Walsh popping into pit lane. Nicholas Walsh has said 2 laps down, but he's bringing into the lane. So I wonder if that is, giving us a little bit of crucial information. He's done about 28 laps on this stint. So I wonder if maybe Nicholas Walsh is going, this is as high as I'm going to make it. I'm not going to get much further from here. Although he is in a race with Raymond Yeager. So it could be just coming in just to top it up with fuel. And that could be crucial for all of us, because it will mean that everybody else will probably be in the same boat. Of course, we offer a big thank you to everybody for joining us here tonight as well. It's a bit of a bumper weekend for sports, and there's the World Cup going on at the moment. So we thank everybody for joining us here on a Sunday night and watching the racing. And of course, if you're watching on replay as well, we won't hold that against you whatsoever. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you're enjoying the broadcast here tonight. We are enjoying bringing it to you for sure, as we racing it's calmed down a lot since the frenetic start that we had, but it is still going on very well at the moment. We've got 13 laps remaining. We are very much coming towards the end of tonight's race. Who will it be? Saw a bit of a brake check there from Justin Whitcher, a quick dab of the brakes, and that's another thing that you don't see on oval racing, Mark, unless you're driving in these cars. You see when people are using their brakes.
Yeah, it's excuse me. It's very unusual to see brake lights on an oval, but these things do have them. So it's a good insight for us to see what these guys are and how they're using their brakes in the race.
Yeah, you sort of just need to dab them a little bit here and there, especially if you're getting one of those big runs and you just need to get the car a little bit settled in the corner. You'll just see a quick dab here and there, and you can sometimes see when somebody's prepping to come down the lane because they'll just start dragging the brake a little bit for a few laps, just getting everything up to temperature. Of course, when you're running a race car at this speed, the brakes get very, very cool very, very quickly, and cold brakes do not like working. They like to snag and lock up, as we see Justin Whitcher deciding it is go time. The number 12 flying through the field, siving his way through the pack of Southern Stars cars and getting himself up into the lead. Gary Wellman also in that mindset. So is Greg Spencer and Ash Nazir. It is go time by the looks of things.
Yep, we've just seen the last couple of laps, Justin just sticking his nose out and looking at where to make the move. And he's done that, timed that perfectly. Big move back up onto the high line to block Barber getting that run. Look out on the outside, who's coming? And we've seen all three Southern Stars in pit lane, Carl.
We have indeed. Todd Maxfield joining them as well, but this is what we were wanting to see to make this race into something, well, a little bit more spectacular, is some green flag stops, and they are happening. I don't think anybody can make it to the end from here. If they could, they would be... I'm sure the Southern Stars would have been working much harder for fuel saving. They got 10 laps to go. Justin Whitcher, we know, was heavily fuel saving under the pace car and also during that run. And then all of a sudden he started going great guns. So I wonder if he's gone, well, actually, I feel confident. I reckon I can just about make it to the end. Other people might not be as confident. We're going to find out, though. 9 laps remaining, and, well, a cat has been thrown amongst the pigeons, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. And Mackenzie here is going to go a lap down. So he's got to really hope that there's that these guys can't make it home on fuel.
This could be, the Southern Stars team need to really work hard now and just absolutely go hell for leather and really get the pace going. Gary Wellman in the lane. So we're seeing Wellman pull it into the lane. Chris Finlay in the lane. 8 and a bit laps remaining here. Surely nobody can make it to the end. If they have managed to save enough fuel to get to the end, then they have done a fantastic job for this one, Mark.
Yeah, look, with Gary being in and I missed a second guy. These
Chris
two,
Finlay.
Chris Finlay in the pit lane, is telling me that these guys cannot make it home.
Well, as I said, this could be down to some damage as well. All of those cars had a bit of damage. Remember, the one car out there that is pretty much unscathed is Justin Whitcher. And I wonder if that's coming into play.
Quite very well could be.
Ash Nazir popping it down the lane as well, bringing it in for a stop. And we see Wellman's managed to get out ahead of Pritchard and Barber. So the City Boys doing a good job in that pit stop, getting themselves out into a solid position at the moment. They're sitting in 4th and 5th as it stands, as Whitcher is pulling it into pit lane. Whitcher and Spencer coming down the lane. So, nope, they could not make it, but they did a good job of saving it right to the very end, making it 36 laps in this stint. Now, of course, that means they need to take less fuel on board. That means less time stationary in pit lane. If you can absolutely nail this pit stop, you can gain a huge amount of time. Who is going to come out in the lead of the race? Down the lane they go, stopping on their marks. Wellman flying around the back straight at the moment, coming into turns 3 and 4 right now with Chris Finlay. They're coming up to the line. Whitcher pulling away, getting himself up to speed now, getting out of the pit lane. Speed limiter is off, up to speed. Wellman and Finlay are going to come into your picture any second now, into turns 1 and 2. And it looks like Whitcher has absolutely nailed this one. He's got to get up to speed, of course, but he has got a nice gap over the rest of the field. Justin Whitcher is going to come out with a huge margin behind him.
And now don't forget too, Carl, that these tyres would have cooled down on Richard's car just that fraction. So, and these guys, this angry pack behind them, are on warm tyres. So it's going. These guys here need to work together to really catch Whitcher.
They've got 6 laps to do it in. Whitcher has got a 1.5 second lead over Chris Finlay and Gary Wellman. Ash Nazir has done a good job of working his way up there as well. The Southern Star boys are flying along too. Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard on the high line. Darren McKenzie's been caught out in that stuff. He's dropped down a little bit, unfortunately, but he could still catch up to this pack. They need to catch up to Justin Whitcher. Whitcher is moving the car across the line as he's going through.
Contact there. Sorry, Carl. Contact between Barber and Wellman, and they both keep it on track.
Great job keeping it on track. The race is absolutely on with 5 laps to go. Ash Nazir looking to go 3 wide with Gary Wellman in the background. This is real racy stuff now. This is where they are racing hard. But while they're racing hard, it's giving Justin Whitcher the chance to break out in front. So we'll keep our eye on that a little bit. But the main thing we want to watch is this battle here. This is the part of the race that we are watching. The battle for second place is going to be, well, I think it's going to be the one that we need to watch. I think Justin Whitcher might just have the margin to get this one, although it is closing fairly rapidly. So if Gary Wellman can get into the draft of Justin Whitcher, he will get a huge, huge run. Same for Chris Finlay. Whitcher just has to break that draft. He just has to keep out in front, but it is closing, and once it gets to about a second, they will pick up that slipstream, and all of a sudden, they will whiz past him. So it is 3 and a bit laps remaining, and this is going to be some real dicey stuff.
Well, Carl, I can tell you that gap at the start of this lap was there out to 1.5 seconds. It is now down to 0.7, as I just go to say that, 0.7 of a second. Now, Wellman will be getting the stream, starting to get the stream here. So it's going to be on. Barber on the low line.
2 laps remaining after this one. It is very much on. Whitcher is sitting in a really tough spot now because that field is going to come flying up to him and they are going to get the mother of all slingshots. Justin Whitcher is going to be sort of held out there with nobody to help him. He is going to lose so much speed here, and he is indeed. He's just got to try and balk that run of those guys, try and get them to lift off a little bit so he can get back in this race as they go past Raymond Yeager. They're 3 wide in the background. They're getting very, very close. They're going to go 4 wide. They are 4 wide in the background. Darren McKenzie running onto the low line. Darren McKenzie's back in this race, but he has to get past those cars. Up the front, it's Justin Whitcher and Gary Wellman battling it out with Andy Barber, Tom Pritchard, Ash Nazir. The fight is on. Less than a couple of thousandths of a second covering the top 8 cars.
Just seen their big brake check. Or just about everyone except for Wellman was on their brakes then, coming in out of turn 4.
I think everybody just had to take a moment there because that was real tight action for sure. Real close stuff as McKenzie gets sideways, taking that low line. He just about holds it, and the white flag is going to be coming out very, very shortly. Gary Wellman in the lead at the moment. He's got Andy Barber flying up towards him. A little bit of contact between himself and Darren McKenzie. They are coming up for the white flag. It is the final lap here tonight at Michigan. Gary Wellman in the lead ahead of Andy Barber, Darren McKenzie, Ash Nazir, Justin Whitcher. They are really racing hard. Gary Wellman's in an unenviable spot as there's a little bit of a moment behind. Ash Nazir going all over the track. He manages just to save it, but it's going to be between these cars now. Wellman just has to get that launch, but he's not going to be able to do it. McKenzie's got a good run down on the inside. So has Justin Whitcher. It is very much on here for the final couple of meters of this racetrack. Who is going to take victory here? Wellman darts to the inside, but it looks like it's going to be Darren McKenzie taking the win here tonight.
Yeah. Well, right at the moment, it's showing Andy Barber, Gary Wellman, Darren McKenzie. So we'll wait for everything to settle down and update.
Yeah, we will have to wait just to make sure of that one because it was very much a photo finish. But just from my eyeball and the camera, Darren McKenzie had about 5% of the car ahead of Andy Barber. And Justin Whitcher was a further 5% back from Andy Barber. So very close stuff as they got to the line. Barely anything covering those cars, less than a thousandth of a second covering the top three.
Well, it's just come up. Darren McKenzie has taken the race win over Andy Barber by 0.009. And then Justin Whitcher was a 0.018 behind. So great racing. Been a little bit messy early on in the race, but it's definitely come back, and a great drive back through the field for Gary Wellman. Unfortunate for Raymond Jagger, but that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Really good job. The Southern Stars had a fantastic race here tonight, and Darren McKenzie celebrating in style. And just seen as well on the stream, it is Mr. Andy Barber's birthday, I believe. So a birthday podium and a win for the team. And we see the Southern Stars there paying homage to Darren McKenzie, lining themselves up. They have not had the best of luck through this year of racing, but tonight it all came together perfectly. Darren McKenzie taking the victory here tonight in the first race of the season. Fantastic stuff for himself. Andy Barber comes home in second spot with Justin Whitcher in third. Gary Wellman finishes in fourth after a very rough night. Tom Pritchard comes home fifth. Chris Finlay in sixth position. Ash Nazir comes home in seventh. Greg Spencer in eighth. Ninth place for Todd Maxfield. And Nicholas Walsh rounds out the Sim Boys in the top 10. P11 is Raymond Jaeger. A rough night for the reigning champion for sure. He's going to have a night to forget from that one. It's Peter Madison that comes home 12th after having a very heavy impact, but gets back on track to make those laps up. Adam Malone comes home 13th for Shane Malone, 14th, 15th for Aaron Dillon, 16th for Jamie Budd, Noddy Tompkins, 17th, and Aidan Schultz in 18th, out early doors, unfortunately.
We've had a great race tonight. Off to Pocono next week, so let's hope some of the action from the night flows over till next week, Carl.
Yeah, the tricky triangle will always be a tricky place to get everything working, of course. But hopefully, we're going to see everybody back stronger, better, faster, and a little bit more patient as well. After it was a little bit of a rough race tonight, but it was some fantastic action and what we were expecting, what we are so used to seeing in the series as well. Another photo finish to the line. Absolutely nothing between those guys. Really, really great stuff. Gary Wellman was an ice age away by 0.0044. So that's just covering the top four. It wasn't even a second covering the top 8 cars. Every car on the lead lap was within a second of each other. That is absolutely great stuff. Really, really great run to the end there, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to say Matt's done some great job here and getting the finish, and you can just see so close.
It was. I had to take a little double check as we sort of got there. I just had to zoom out a little bit to see who won that one from my cameras. And as I said, I just could see that one with the naked eye for Darren McKenzie, but it was so very close between those three. Really, really great stuff. All right, let us start off with our third place finisher tonight for Pinnacle. It is Justin Whitcher in the number 12. Justin, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a third place finish here at Michigan.
Cheers, boys. How are we?
Well, a little bit taken for breath after that finish. Plenty of action throughout the race, but that final run to the flag was barely anything between any of you.
Yeah, she was pretty hot that last lap. Probably same as what the first 16 laps were, I suppose.
Yeah, the aggression levels, they went very high at the beginning of the race, and then they sort of kept themselves up, and then there was a little bit of a lull, and then it all went back to normal at the end. that final pit stop, we saw you were doing some heavy fuel saving to try and get as much out of the car as you could. And then it became a bit obvious that you weren't going to be able to make it to the line. But you came out in a really good position. You made up some really good time in the pit stop.
Yeah, it wasn't so much trying to make it to the end. It was just trying to make the fill a lot shorter. So, instead of having to go blazing along and maybe having to put 20 litres in, I had to put in 14 or something. So it was just unfortunate that they all grouped up on me. I was hoping they'd be a bit more spread out. Someone might have stuffed up a few fuel loads and that, and it'd be 1 and 2 and 1 sort of thing rather than 1 and 6 chasing me down.
Absolutely. We saw you had a monster gap for the Australasian series. So, about like 1.5 seconds over the rest of the field. And it looks like they were going to start battling and possibly giving you a little bit of a break. But then they all linked up together, and that must have been a sinking feeling in your stomach.
Yeah, well, I seen Gary had was it in front of them all. So I thought, well, he'll have it all under control, and I'm pretty well stuffed here. So probably needed maybe 1 less lap, maybe 2, and I would have made it. But they think there was a lap car in there. And once you get a lap car in between, is at 1.3, 1.4 seconds, that's it. They'll catch up to you, within a couple of corners. So, it was just have a crack at it. Might work, but anyway, it worked out all right at the end.
It did indeed. I mean, look, it was absolutely a drag to the finish, and it looked like you had probably the only car out there that was completely clean.
Yeah, I had unlike last year, I had a few cars just whizzing off right in front of me, not actually cleaning me up, so it was good. But yeah, it was just I think this year's going to be a little bit more of a conservative approach and then get racy towards the end rather than, I think last year went a bit too racy at the start, trying to keep ahead of the accidents, and sometimes got caught in them because of everyone was having the same idea. So we'll just hopefully it stays like this and keep a clean car towards into all the races.
Absolutely. Now you said that, everybody's going to go, oh, no, I'm going to keep it eased off at the beginning, and everybody's going to be at the back battling hard now. So you completely stuffed yourself.
Well, they can do that, and then I'll just take off on them. So we'll see. Take a pick which one I'm going to do.
Look, congratulations tonight, Justin. Well done indeed. Look, a good way to start the season, getting at a podium, of course. Hopefully it will be the first of many this year. Well done indeed. Now, before I let you go, the usual thing, the love, the shout-outs to sponsors and people in general, mate.
Yeah, just my Private Cellar, Whitcher Electrix, RKJ Web Services, the boys at Pinnacle, and you boys for putting on the broadcast.
Always welcome, Justin. Always a pleasure to have you up here in the booth. Hopefully we'll be seeing you back very, very soon indeed. Congratulations tonight and enjoy your celebrations.
Cheers, boys.
Justin Whitcher there for Pinnacle. Next up, we are going to be bringing up the number 5 Southern Stars entry, and I believe birthday boy himself is Mr. Andy Barber. Andy, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on P2 here tonight at Michigan.
Thanks, boys.
Is it birthday boy?
Yeah, today, yep. Another year old.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, mate. One shy, almost one more lap, and I reckon I would have had a nice birthday present.
It was very, very close to being the perfect birthday celebration. Nothing between yourself and Darren McKenzie there at the end, and really, Justin Whitcher as well. But you managed to get the car in a very strong position at the end. That final pit stop, it looks like maybe things had not quite worked out, and then all of a sudden the grouping up happened and you had a massive run.
Yeah, well, it's a little unfortunate because I play in VR. I had my UI go onto a third screen, which was ghosting itself, so I couldn't actually use my mouse and change my tyres. So that's the reason why I probably stayed out those first 2 cautions, because I knew if I had to come in that it would have changed my tyres for me. So unfortunately, I think during one of those cautions, though, I had Tom smack me up the arse under caution. So I had to come in and get that fixed and consequently take some tyres. So that kind of threw my strategy out a little bit, and I was on the back foot, and I knew that the next time I had to pit, my crew chief was going to take the tyres anyway. So it was just kind of trying to work out when it was clinical to do it, but certainly lucky to get the caution and the lucky dog, and just race on to the end.
Well, absolutely. Look, even better when you've had to fight through technical limitations and problems like that to get yourself on the podium. Very well earned indeed. But it was a really strong night for yourself and the team tonight. You must be happy with that one.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, a little bit down on the numbers tonight, but certainly looking forward to racing with these guys again, and the Pinnacle guys and Sim boys as well. Good to race up the front with those guys, and Gary Wellman obviously as well, and Raymond. I think his night didn't go the way he wanted tonight, but yeah, usually he's up there as well. So yeah, great to be back in racing a new season with these boys, and look forward to the next one.
Well, fingers crossed. The good luck will continue for the team. We know you've had your share of bad luck, so you are very much in some well-deserved good luck period. Congratulations tonight. Have a great birthday, mate. And before I let you go, the personal shout-outs, we'll make Darren do the hard stuff with all the sponsors.
Yeah, I was going to say, give him the hard part. I'll just thank you guys for the broadcast. Obviously, we all go back and watch it afterwards. All the hard work put into that, blood, sweat, and tears. And obviously the league admins as well, which I think is Nigel and Greg. So, yeah, kudos to those guys, obviously organising a new season. And, yeah, it's got a bit of road in there as well, which will be interesting later on. But I'll leave the rest of the formalities for us stars definitely to Darren.
All right, congratulations, Addy. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your birthday, and well done on P2.
Peace.
Andy Barber there for 7 stars. And finally, we're going to bring up our race winner, Mr. Darren McKenzie. Darren, welcome to the booth, mate, and congratulations on a well-deserved victory here tonight at Michigan.
Yeah, hello, good evening, and yeah, thanks. It's that was a hell of a finish to a good race.
Well, we were saying during the race, you've had your share of bad luck. Often it's in the form of some kind of failure on the rig or some sort of weird internet issue or thing like that coming in. And we were sort of trying to keep our fingers crossed and touching wood every time we said anything. And tonight it all worked out for you, and you got up there and got a bloody win out of it.
Yeah, well, the plan was to let Andy win, but the other two guys were too close, so I couldn't let off the throttle because it's his birthday today. So it would have been a nice little birthday win for him. But yeah, with was it Wellman and Whitcher there as well, I just couldn't let up enough.
No, it was very much it was a photo finish there as well. And Tom Pritchard wasn't too far off either, the third Southern star up there. It was really close stuff coming to the line tonight. But you guys looked like you had some great pace and you were working really well up the front of the pack.
Yeah, like the extra set of tyres helped. You don't have to worry about it. You can just go out there and race and have fun.
Absolutely. That's good to hear that worked out for you. I have to mention earlier on in the race, there were a couple of moments where I was looking at you. I caught you out the corner of my eye, basically four-wheel drifting around the track at full speed. It did not look like it was settled, especially when the tyres were a little bit colder.
Nah, at the end there, I was just throwing it in. It was like those last couple of laps, it was on the inside, straight down into fifth gear and just foot flat around the line. There was bumps and bit of banging going on, but yeah, that's what I mean. I think I had tyres were 41 laps at the end there. I had to do the little splash and dash with them as well. So they were old, but they weren't two stint old tyres where you have to try and baby them and you can race. That's what the whole race was, just door to door action. It was great. I think Raymond drew the wrong end of the stick when we come together, but watching the replay, it just looks like he drifted up a little bit. So it was, other than that, it was some awesome racing between him and I. Andy was trying to conserve his tyres. He couldn't turn his tyres off at all. So
yeah, we heard about that issue.
Yeah, it was drama all around.
It was indeed, but for once the drama didn't end up in terrible light. It's ended up with a fantastic finish for the team, and we are so stoked for you. I mean, starting off the season with a good result for this must really help the team morale out.
Oh, it does. Yeah, there's another league we raced round 1 the other week, and we got the 1-2 in that as well. So a couple of leagues have had really good starts to the season. So yeah, we've just got Tom back from overseas, so the old gang's back together and put in some good results.
Absolutely. It's great to hear, and we look forward to seeing you guys up at the front and carrying on that good streak of form, and hopefully it will mean for a good solid season as well. You started it off in the perfect manner. Hopefully we can continue it on in the same form. Hopefully you'll have a Gary Wellman like year this season.
Oh, no, I don't think I'm that good.
Well, we can try for sure, Darren. Look, congratulations tonight. Now, before I let you go, it's your job because you won it. You get to do the hard work of all the big shout outs. So shout out to all your sponsors, everybody you'd like to say hello to tonight. Go for it, mate. You deserve it.
Yeah, we got all the guys at Southern Stars Esports, Mrs. XL Garage, Giona Holiday Park, RBI Trading Cards, and of course you guys at the broadcast. Everything you do and to show up each week and commentate. Yeah, thank you.
No, you're always welcome. And when we get good finishes like that, it makes our job so much easier. Congratulations tonight, Darren. Great to see you up on the top step again. Hopefully it is the first of many for season 7.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you.
Darren McKenzie there for Southern Stars, taking out the win here tonight. And look, fantastic win here tonight as well. Very close finish. What we love to see for the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Well, if you've enjoyed tonight, then make sure to head back next week. As we said, we're at Pocono. It's the tricky triangle. If you've not seen Pocono before, you are in for an absolute treat. Of course, we have more coming up for you here on Performance streaming this week. Of course, it is the final round of the regular season for the Anscar Cup. We are heading off to Daytona. It's back to the Super Speedway, and then it is off to the playoffs for the final 10 races. So we hope you can join us there on Thursday for that one, and of course back on Sunday for the Australasian Supercar eSeries. Hopefully we will also be seeing you over on Checkered Flag eStreaming for the Weekend Warriors, Mark.
Yeah, this week we head to Dover for round 2 of the Triple Crown. So it'll be interesting there, at the little mile track at the Monster Mile.
Absolutely. We hope you can all join us here for the week of motorsport, the virtual motorsport coming up. A big thank you to everybody for joining us here tonight. It's always a pleasure bringing you these races. From all of us here at Performance eStreaming, we're going to wish you a very good night, and we'll see you again soon. From myself, Carl Wilkinson, with Mr. Mark Johansson and Matt Hunter. Good night.